Tonight, we're talking about something that quietly controls weight, appetite, metabolism, and yes, the gut. It's not calories, it's not willpower, but it is the signal systems inside of your digestive tract that are deciding when you're hungry, when you're full, when you need fuel. Hi, everybody. I'm Chanel Cosette Jepson. I am the Senior VP of Product Development and Innovation here at Zingular. I am also a functional nutritionist and biochemist. And this is my specialty is gastrointestinal health and the human microbiome. And tonight I'm so excited to talk about really this connection between our gut and the beautiful world of microbes that live within it, our brain and our metabolism, because they are all intricately connected. I have some slides just to kind of go through and show a visual representation of what's happening. Also, please drop in the chat. Tell me where you're from. Tell me hi. I'm so excited that you guys are here tonight. I wanted to start off with this. I think a lot of people think of your gut as just this digestive tract, right? Like it just comes in, digests, absorbs, whatever. But it is actually an endocrine organ. What this means is that your gut produces hormones. And I want you to understand that. Your gut produces hormones. So if your gut is out of whack, then your hormones are going to be out of whack. Specifically, your satiety hormones are going to be out of whack. So if I was to kind of like break down this, it's going to the gut. It's like I said, it's not where food just gets broken down. It's this endocrine organ that is releasing these hormones, which is going to influence your appetite, your blood sugar, your fat storage. You guys, weight loss does not start in the gym. It actually starts in your gut. Your gut is going to sense these nutrients. It's going to communicate with the brain. It's going to release these hormones, and all of these things are going to happen in your gut, which is literally the epicenter of health. So if you're sitting there, I want you to know, like the very first thing you should do on your health journey is love your gut. Love on your gut, give it what it needs. And I'm going to talk very specifically about what you can do. All right. So there are 3 gut cell types, right? So these are kind of your family of hormones, if you will. So you have your L cells, your K cells, your I cells, your L cells. Everybody knows about GLP-1, glucagon-like peptide 1, right? This is what these medical weight loss and microdosing shots are made of. They have GLP-1 and GIP. If it's tirzepatide, GLP-1 if it's semaglutide. So people know a lot about what GLP-1 is, right? It's going to slow that gastric emptying, but there are 2 other satiety hormones that a lot of people don't know anything about. So one of them is PYY, and then we have your CCK. So these 3 things together, these are going to determine your fullness, your blood sugar control, and they are going to have fuel usage, meaning like calorie usage versus fat storage. So it's really determining when I'm sitting down like in front of a meal, right? Eating, it's going to determine whether or not I use that food as energy, as restorative messengers versus storing it in my connective tissue as fat cells. So these are very, 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 very important satiety hormones. And I will show you kind of, if I can go to my slides, kind of how it works in your body. So here you have your, okay, so if you're looking at the bottom of the screen, you see these like little individual things. These are your little villi. And then right where the little circles are and those like rectangles, those are called your epithelial cells. So you have your villi, your epithelial cells. When you intake food, your food gets broken down into little pieces, right? And your body decides what it's going to pull into your bloodstream. And then from there, you're going to have this communication with your brain. And these are where these satiety signals is in these epithelial cells, where they're going to have that communication start. When I think of these epithelial cells, I think of my hand. I don't know how small I am on the screen, so hopefully you can see my hand. I want you to think of your epithelial cells like your fingers. If I was to pour water, some of that would get through my hand, right? So this isn't like a cell phone where it's just like a hard block. Things can get through, and your body decides what's get through. unless these epithelial cells, if these epithelial cells in between them is what I'm gonna try not to get too technical, but they're called septate strands. Anyways, they like expand and close, and they're deciding like what goes into your bloodstream. But a lot of people have what we call intestinal hyperpermeability, which is leaky gut. And essentially, these strands get damaged. You maybe the barriers, the little villi get damaged, the mucus gets broken down, whatever, and you might have things go into your bloodstream that aren't supposed to be there, and that's what causes these food sensitivities and food allergies, I mean, that you're seeing people have. And it's going to cause some inflammation, which can also lead to obesity. So we really want to take care of all of the different parts of the gut. So I'm going to talk a little bit about all of the different things that you can help support this system so that in turn you have healthy digestion, so you're absorbing more nutrients, you're not gaining weight. In fact, you can lose weight by triggering these satiety hormones, and you are just going to feel so much better and digest so much better. All right, so that's like the little breakdown. So we have here, we're going to have the eye cells I'm going to talk about first. They release a hormone called CCK. And this is kind of like the unsung hero because I know GLP-1s are so important and so incredible, but also is this hormone called CCK. And this is triggered actually by protein. So if you are new here, we have an incredible product called Trim Sticks. And within Trim Sticks is a key protein called potato protein. But within this protein, it is isolated to be a significant modulator of CCK. So this potato protein will actually trigger CCK to be released so that, and it goes to your brain and tells you, hi, I'm full for up to 3 hours is the dosage in a Trim Sticks. So it really is biohacking your gut-brain axis and helping you to feel full. So that is going to be triggered by protein. It can also be triggered by higher doses of protein. Say something like a clear protein where it's 20 grams of protein, obviously other benefits as well. So that is your CCK. Next up, I want to talk about our GLP-1 and our PYY. So these are also other hormones. So you're going to have GLP-1, right? That slows digestion. It's going to reduce appetite, but then also improve your insulin response. This is so integral, especially if you are a woman in midlife. This is really going to rule everything else. And then you have your PYY. This also is going to help prolong fullness and to reduce cravings. All right, so now we have K cells. So we have three different cells, three different hormones. So K cells and GIP. So if you are taking, say, a tirzepatide, you may know that term. You have your GLP-1 plus your GIP. And balanced GIP just means for better fuel use. So it's going to direct nutrients into the muscle. It's going to support glucose handling and really improve just your metabolic efficiency. So when I think of metabolic health, I want you to think of blood sugar, blood pressure, all of those different things. That is what the K cells GIP is kind of helping with. All right. So this is just a graph so you can kind of see all of the amazing things that GLP-1 does. So like I said, when you ingest, specifically fiber is like the most powerful thing for a GLP-1. Natural GLP-1 production I'm talking about. I'm not talking about synthetic, just natural GLP-1 production is going to be fiber. And so these are all of the amazing things it's going to do. And the same thing will happen whether you're taking a synthetic or improving it naturally. And what's amazing is you can actually couple those together, right? You can actually marry your natural GLP-1 production with a synthetic GLP-1 production for additional benefits. So GLP-1 is going to increase it's going to increase satiety so that you actually feel full and it can decrease body weight. Okay. It's going to help with insulin secretion and your glucose levels. And it's also going to help that glucose intake. One of the really cool things is cardio protection. If you are in your midlife, women in menopause, the highest cause of death is actually heart disease. We want to do whatever we can. We want to make sure we're supporting cardiovascular health. It's going to indirectly decrease glucose production, and also it's going to help with your gastric emptying rate, meaning it's going to slow that down so that you feel fuller for longer. So this is like overall the role of a GLP-1. But how it does this a lot too is with inflammation, which is why so many people are also microdosing. They're different. You have medical weight loss, and then you have microdosing, and they are different and different benefits. But then there's a lot of crossover, right? If you like did a Venn diagram, you would see a lot of crossover with the two, especially with cardio production, inflammation, satiety, and things like that. So that is GLP-1. And then you have GIP. So this is going to help reduce your appetite. It's going to help with insulin production. It's also going to decrease glucose production, so that's sugar, right? And increase lipogenesis. So GIP is this just really good companion piece to a GLP-1. But like I said, everything, all of these start in the gut, okay? GLP-1, GIP, CCK, PPY, all of these satiety hormones are literally created in your gut, which is an endocrine organ. And so when you help to improve your gut health, you're going to also be improving these satiety hormones and their production. All right, so let's move on to this layering signal system because I kind of want you to see it all together. So you are going to have, so your L cells, those release your GLP-1, PYY. GLP-1 is going to slow your digestion, reduce appetite, improve insulin response. Your PYY is going to also prolong fullness, but then also reduce cravings. So when I think of this is just this family, and they work as this like perfect orchestra together. And these multiple signals really help to stable your appetite and improve your blood sugar. Okay, so these are the three things you're going to want to focus on. Okay, three things that if you want to activate these hormones, you're going to want to do. Number one is protein. Protein is incredibly important. Protein is going to help trigger CCK and GLP-1. Okay, so protein, we have like clear protein, right? That whey protein isolate, it's incredible. There was actually a clinical study done on 20 grams of whey, or sorry, 17 grams of whey protein versus chicken and rice at the same 17 grams of protein. And participants actually produced much more GLP-1 with whey protein. So whey protein seems to have a very positive effect on your GLP-1 levels and fullness. So how you can take it from science to practical use is drink a serving of clear protein 20-30 minutes before you eat. If you do that, your body will start to produce those satiety hormones so that when you get to your meal, you will eat less. And clinical studies back that up. In fact, participants in these clinical studies reduced their caloric intake by 300 calories in every meal. Roughly, like that was an average. So some people more, some people less, right? But just drinking whey protein 20 to 30 minutes before a meal helped reduce the caloric intake of that meal. So that is one hack or tip you could take away from this. The next one is fiber. Fiber is also incredibly important. Only 5% of Americans get in the daily recommended value of fiber. 5%. You guys, that is so sad. 95% of people out there are not getting in enough fiber. And because of that, they are deficient in GLP-1 and they are deficient in PYY. So two really key satiety hormones. There are also other things that fiber is incredibly useful for. It helps to clear your whole GI system. I think of those old kitchen sponges, right? One side is the yellow, the other side is the green. If you take our complete prebiotic, you know this. We have insoluble and soluble fiber. So we have both the yellow side of the kitchen sponge and the green side. We have the side that absorbs toxins and excess and food and pushes it through. And then we also have the other side, which is like the green side, which scrubs and kind of cleans, if you will. I'm simplifying these things, but that's essentially what it does. So fiber is important for more than just satiety hormones. But tonight, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about how to biohack your gut in order to lose weight and feel great. The next one is fermentation. So, fiber, some fibers, not all fibers, but some fibers are prebiotics. Prebiotics, your good bacteria is going to take those prebiotics and they are going to create short chain fatty acids. And those also stimulate additional cells, okay? Which is really cool. So if these cells that I talked about produce your hormones, you want more of them, right? And that is what these short chain fatty acids essentially help to do. All right. Oh, and this is what I was just talking about. So your fiber feeds your microbes, and then your microbes produce short chain fatty acids. That is going to stimulate L cells. That's going to increase your natural GLP-1 and PYY. So if you are taking complete prebiotic, if you are taking trim sticks, or if you're taking GLP-X, or if you are combining all three of those, trim sticks, GLP-X, and complete prebiotic, then those all have gut modulating prebiotics in them and polyphenols that are going to help trigger this process. And then when you add on our complete probiotic, now you have the full team. So if you imagine you're stacking all of these products throughout the day, you are going to be able to produce satiety hormones throughout the entire day. Okay, so you want to stack those together. So these are kind of, I want you to think of like fiber amplifies the hormone signals. So you have these signals produced in your gut. Fiber is going to make those much louder so that you can quiet that food noise and so that you can focus on other things. All right, so fiber is going to also enhance protein. So this is another little hack that you can do. Combine your complete prebiotic with collagen and or clear protein. So if you were to mix that, you're going to get amplified benefits as well. So fiber, it's going to extend that CCK signaling. It's going to also improve amino acid absorption. If you're familiar with our clear protein, it is incredibly high in amino acids, specifically leucine, which is the amino acid needed to trigger muscle, okay? And it has a advanced enzyme blend in order to release 100% more amino acids. So your body is actually going to absorb 100% more amino acids on average than compared to any other protein on the market. So it's like 100% better. And this is, but fiber, say you mix fiber with your clear protein, that is even going to further improve your amino acid absorption. So I love pairing complete prebiotic with either clear protein or collagen, or sometimes all three. I love that as well. All right. So protein alone, I love protein alone, especially after a workout. However, if you are wanting it to maybe last a little bit longer, that is where I would say combining a fiber. You could combine, like I have Island Slush in here. Island Slush and frosted lemonade is so good together. Or something like fruit punch and frosted lemonade. I love those two together. So you can just kind of mix and match. But this also, Trim 6 has 2 grams of organic prebiotic fiber in it. And so this is also going to help with your fullness and hunger rebound. All right, so I just want to break down and kind of wrap this up. I just want to make sure I have all of the things. All right, so when I look at weight loss, I think of it as it is calories in, calories out somewhat. But I want to look beyond that for a larger conversation. It really comes down to also a hormonal issue. Weight loss, it takes guts. I don't know how else to put it. Weight loss takes guts. It takes, in order to lose weight, it's going to take your gut. Your gut needs to be in a good place. It's also, that's going to even help amplify, other modalities that we are going to lose or use. And so sustainable weight loss is going to require some of these if you want long term. And so this is I want you to take this presentation and think of it as something, whether you are on a peptide, whether you are coming off of a peptide, or even if you want to lose weight without a peptide, you can literally use these exact tools that I'm talking about to get better results across the board on all three of those pathways. Okay. So this really works for anybody who is looking for improved weight loss that's sustainable, long lasting, improved health, even your skin health, your blood sugar, which is going to influence brain fog and your ability to focus and your energy levels. And I mean, the cascading effect of fixing your gut is honestly incredible. So that is where I would say everybody they need to start right here. Because weight loss, it really isn't about just eating less food. It's also about producing the right hormones. Because really, when the gut is supported, your appetite is going to be supported. So if I was to wrap this up and I was to say, okay, Chanel, take it from science to real life, the first thing you should do in the morning is take Complete Probiotic. Complete Probiotic is a very unique product that is going to set the stage for your gastrointestinal system. It has specific probiotic strains where their job is to reduce body fat. Their job is to improve the gut-brain connection and improve your mood, and also to reduce that food noise through your gut. So step number one would be that. And then the next thing I want you to do is I want you to do protein. I want you to intake your protein. Clear protein, whether you're mixing it in with yogurt, whether you're taking it on its own, whether you're mixing it in a smoothie, you want that protein first thing in the morning. And you need to get in 2.5 grams of leucine, which is what our clear protein has. You can also find 2.5 grams of leucine in roughly about 5 eggs in the morning. So I just want you to make sure that you're hitting your protein, your 2.5 grams of leucine target first thing in the morning. And then after that, let's focus on fiber, and you can trickle that in throughout the day. If you are a woman, you need 25 grams of fiber a day. If you're a male, you need about 30 grams of fiber a day. And so I want you to start getting in your fiber throughout the day, right? We have amazing supplements for that. We have Complete Prebiotic, which is 5 different types of fiber plus polyphenols. It's not just a fiber, it's a prebiotic, but it also modulates your gut for weight loss specifically. And then we also have Trim Sticks, which gives you energy, fiber, and really taps into your gut satiety hormones. And so taking these things right throughout the day. Once again, I also mix that the Complete Prebiotic with collagen or with protein. And these are just ways that you can, and then also if you are taking GLP-X, right, you can also take those. And so you're able to really trickle it throughout the entire day in order to feel full, but then you're also hitting your micro goals and your macro goals. So the key takeaway I want you to take from this entire presentation is when you feed the gut, it triggers the signals and it makes your metabolism work for you. So when you feed the gut correctly, your body stops fighting against you. It's less like white knuckling or constant cravings. The power really is gut-driven weight wellness, and that's what we're achieving here at Singular. I hope you guys got a lot out of this presentation. I know it was a ton of science, but I think the more we know, the better we can do. And I want to see you guys implement these things, because once you implement them and you're hitting your fiber targets and you're hitting your protein targets, you're going to be feeding those hormones. And that's going to create hormonal balance and satiety that really helps you focus on the things that matter in life rather than constantly just focusing on food, and helping your body to quiet that food noise. And once again, you can apply these principles for different stages, whether you want weight loss without peptides, whether you want additional support on a peptide. Also, I will say, this is going to help be a foundation that you need. Because like I said, this is actually going to produce more L cells. And then if you are somebody who's coming off of a peptide and want to maintain, you can also do that. So there are all of these different all these different ways that you can utilize these tools that I talked about tonight to improve your metabolic system, to improve your health, and to improve your life. Thank you so much for joining me today. As always, I love your guts and have a good night. Bye, everybody.